Alright folks, welcome back and let's meet Mr. Makeba. Makeba lives here in the cage between Coiled and Lilu. We visited Coil in a previous video, so I'm gonna link it and you can click on that and meet Mr. Coil. But here's Mr. Makeba's home, and I like giving them these empty Kleenex boxes and toilet rolls and stuff because they like rolling through them, and oftentimes they tear them or crinkle them, and I can just throw them away and give them fresh ones, and that gives them something to destroy, which they seem to enjoy. As far as enjoyment is something that reptiles do. Alright, where's Mr. Makeba? So Mr. Makeba, in a moment you'll meet him, but he has a little bit of a back injury, and so one of his hides is quite big for a ball python. I mean, when he rolls up tightly, he maybe takes up a third of this space. So I took a little letter tray and I cut a hole in it for him to enter, and I used t-shirts to provide him privacy. And that way he has a nice big hide where he can be inside and he doesn't have to coil up tightly if his back is bothering him. And it looks like it's been getting a little better lately, so I may cycle this one out and give both of, make both of his hides the regular ones like I do for everybody. And everybody is using these salad bowl hides where I took a Dremel and cut a door in. They're easy to clean, easy to maintain. They take the abuse and the frequent cleanings and high humidity for when they're shedding or if they spill their water or pee. And I've been really liking them. They're made out of woven wood and you can buy them online for very cheap. I bought a set of 10 for something like $8, I think. I don't know, don't ask me, it was a long time ago. Anyways, they're super cheap, and compared to what you buy at pet stores, actually I like them better for cleaning especially, and the snakes like them, except Lilu, but we'll talk about Lilu in another video. So let's meet Mr. Makeba. Mr. Makeba, come here, sweetie. Mr. Makeba, come here, sweetie. Come here, sweetie. So I like to slide my hand under them when I pick them up, so that I don't have to actually drag them or grab them, but instead I lift them, I scoop them up. And that usually stresses them out far less. I mean, they're not big fans of being held in general, being snakes. Snakes usually prefer to be left alone. But I wanted to show you Mr. Makeba so that you could meet him. He's a fairly young ball python. He was about 1.5 years when we adopted him. 2 years ago. And as you can see, he's got scarring on his neck and all the way down his back. And what happened is he was dropped off at a rescue and they didn't have a qualified reptile specialist at that rescue at that time. So what ended up happening is that Makeba was in an enclosure that wasn't suitable for him. There was a basking branch underneath a hot basking lamp, and he sat on the branch and he got himself burned. So when we adopted him, he had burn wounds. The wounds were still weeping and he had scabs, so we spent some time getting him back to health. He also was malnourished and emaciated because, again, not having a reptile specialist there, they didn't know how much to feed him. So he was receiving about 1/5 of what he should have been, especially because he was a young and growing python then. And, yeah, he's done much better since. However, he is a little bit of a special care kid because of his injuries. So I'm going to let him go if he wants to. Okay, he wants to go. Good. And I'll let him do his thing. But what happened is that the second half of his body is not super sensitive to touch, and he doesn't have great control of it. It's kind of fairly stiff, and whenever he uses it to grab onto things, he just squeezes with his entire strength instead of modulating as necessary. So I gotta, every now and then, even if he's just sitting on my arm, my fingers get blue because he grabs on with all his might. But yeah, he doesn't really feel much. As you can tell, usually a snake, when you tickle their tail, would pull away, but yeah, he's not really very sensitive there, but that's okay. We try to provide him with everything he needs. I think we're pretty much succeeding with that. So he is there. He is coming around the other side. You see that? Yay! Come out, little guy. Yay! Little snooter. Come out. There you go. What a sweetie. Yes. Okay. Well, what we actually came into his enclosure was to change his water, so let me do that. Put his cardboard box there. And move his hide aside a little bit so we can have access to the water bowl. As I said in other videos, I change their water once every 2 days, every other day, or sooner if necessary. And changing this water, I actually see that he crawled through it. There's a little bit of dirt in there, teeny tiny little specks. So to make sure that the bowl is clean before I refill it with fresh water, I'm going to take a little paper towel and my trusty spray box of chlorhexidine. Spray a little bit in there and wipe it down so that the bowl is, if not sterilized, at least disinfected. Good thing about chlorhex is that it is non-irritant, so even if you poured it on an open wound, which I actually have tested on myself when I had a cut or something, it doesn't burn. And also I use it in a very weak dilution. I get about a gallon, I get a gallon for about $20 or so online, and I put about 5 ounces into this bottle, like right about here, and fill up the rest with water. And that's what I use for cleaning. And if any of the snakes made a more serious mess, like if they went ahead and pooped in a bowl, then I would remove the bowl and soak it in bleach and put it through the dishwasher, and then I would get it. It doesn't happen very often. As a matter of fact, hardly ever. Rocky just did it on Monday, but that's, an exception more than a rule. And I have a couple of hot spares of these so that, if I have to remove a bowl to clean, I can put a fresh one in, and because it's been soaked in bleach and gone through a dishwasher, I can swap them between cages and not transmit any diseases or risk transmitting any diseases. Right now, everybody seems to be in good health. They have seen a vet and they've done all their tests. So, all right, so that was Makeba. Oops. And we're going to be meeting Lulu in the next video. Bye.